Again, the money. Okay, see.
Talk is money.
On.
You're just gonna
Be
point
ready.
at me?
Yeah, be ready.
Go. All right, we're live, baby.
Are we not?
We are live.
All right, welcome to episode 16 of the SOSCAST, baby.
We've had a little technical difficulties, but we're back. We're back.
How are y'all feeling out there?
Better than ever.
Okay, that's great to hear.
How are you, Adam? We've
Man!
been gone for a while.
We were
Sounds
gone for a while. We had a
Thanksgiving
Thanksgiving
break.
break. I gained like 5 pounds since Thanksgiving. I'm wearing a shirt. The AC's a little messed up in here. Apparently, I've got the Michael Scott European cut. Luckily, I'm rocking it.
How
are y'all feeling out there in internet land on value payment? I see people in the comment section. Dogs, cats, Trump, Biden, talking shit left and right.
It's all good.
We're here for you. But more importantly, we are here to help you build that wealth and save that money. If you don't know, welcome to the SOSCAST. My name is Adam Sosnick. You can call me Sos. I'm your boy. Build your wealth, save that money. That's what we do here. We do this every week, Thursday, after the bell, 4 o'clock. Today's a little bit closer to 4:20, no pun intended. But we're ready to rock. We're ready to talk some money. We got David in the house. We got Jorge in the house. I see the people are coming in live. Thank you. There's people saying that we get an echo on the mic. Are we fixing that?
Well,
what's the deal with that?
Echo is officially fixed. I thought they meant the Amazon Echo.
Okay.
Sponsored by Amazon.
Sponsored by Amazon Echo. How we doing now? Let me know if you guys. Ricky, we good? Jeremy, we good? Okay, it's gone. Thank you. We do this show for you. Who we do this show for, David?
For me.
Not for you.
Right, 100 episodes.
Not you. Not you at all. Well, kind of you.
We do it for the fans, for the
We
guests.
do it for the value-tainers looking to build their wealth and save that money. Look, PBD is here to help the CEOs, the C-suite executives, the aspiring entrepreneurs, but not everybody's on that level. Some people just starting out. Some people are like, oh, dude, I got to make that money. I got to save that money. I got to figure out what I'm doing and invest that money. Do I buy crypto? Do I not buy crypto? Do I invest? Do I rent? What do I do? We're here for you. This is what we're here for. So, like I always say, personal finance, 50% knowledge, the other 50% behavior. You come to the show to learn, yes, but are you implementing what you learn? Accountability. So that's something we're going to be working on pretty soon. We're going to be rolling out a course, a valuetainment, Sos Talks Money, Save That Money course. All the things you never learned in high school, the things you never learned in the real world about money, broken down into the 6 principles of wealth. 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 principles of wealth. Plead the 5th, like Chappelle. Remember that back in the day? But we're 6. Anyway, shout out to you guys. If you're here, we appreciate you. You're not like most people. Most people are broke. Most people won't tune in to a show like this. That's why most people live paycheck to paycheck. That's why most people can't get ahead, but not you guys. You guys are learning, and we're here to bring you the most value-taining money stories of the week. With that being said, David, is it fair we jump right into this show today?
Dude, I'm so excited. Let's do this.
Let's do this. Let's talk money. So this first story, there's something that I've been listening to a song all week, and it is by Willow Smith. Have you seen this?
I've heard you in the office.
It's a very catchy song, okay? Catch a vibe, meet me in the 405.
Meet me at our spot.
It's just a catchy song, and ironically, a couple of years ago, I was obsessed with the song by Jaden Smith. I'm an icon living. Icon. Like, the point that I'm getting at is this Will Smith character, amazing character. This guy produces talent.
Yeah.
Him and Jada produce talent. So this story is all about how Will Smith's financial life got flipped, turned upside down. Okay? You see what we did there?
I love it.
So Will Smith wasn't always Big Willie style, Fresh Prince style. He was, at one point, broke Will style. Do you know this story about Will Smith?
I don't. You just asked me to pull it up, and I'll pull it up right now.
Okay. So Will Smith, we all know him. If you want to show his net worth, we all know him. Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Bad Boys, Men in Black, Independence Day, Ali. Now he's playing the Venus and Serena Williams' father, King.
Oh, that's right.
Williams.
Phenomenal actor, man.
Right. He's worth $350 million apparently. Okay,
Yeah.
That's Big Will style. But he wasn't always chilling with the dough, if you know what I'm saying. He had his fair share of financial issues. So I don't know if you guys are familiar with this show, with this story about Will Smith, but we're going to talk about it right now and what he did at the beginning of his career, what he had to learn, how he had to manifest greatness to become who he was today. So recently Will Smith was speaking in London. He was being interviewed by none other than Idris Elba.
Oh,
You know who that is?
Yeah.
Okay. And basically he goes on to tell this story about when he was just getting started, how he borrowed 10 grand from a drug dealer in West Philadelphia.
Born
That's
and
where he was
raised?
born and raised, clearly. After he went broke from doing what a lot of entrepreneurs don't do, forget to pay their taxes. I don't even know if he forgot, so we'll get into that. So basically, here's a Business Insider story about basically, let me just set the table here with Will Smith. So dude starts off in his teens, early 20s, and he starts making music. This is before your day. He starts making
but I'm aware.
Do you remember the songs that he
Yeah.
basically won 2 Grammys?
West Philadelphia. I'm just
No,
kidding.
that's not what he won a Grammy for. Do you know what he won a Grammy for? 2 songs,
Tell me.
actually. To all of my kids all across the land, no need to fake it. Parents just don't understand. That was his first song.
Okay.
Parents just don't understand. Won a Grammy, 1989. A couple years later, summertime. 1991, nothing. This is
No.
ringing 0 bells. Gen Z, get with the freaking program. Will Smith was
Millennial.
killing it. Basically, late 80s, early 90s, he wins 2 Grammys. He comes on the scene before he's the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. He's just the Fresh Prince, right? He wins 2 Grammys. He's killing it. He's making loot. He's spending money left and right. And then all of a sudden, the IRS came knocking on his door. And they're like, yeah, you owe us $2.8 million, Will. He's like, what? I didn't pay
No
taxes?
way.
Yeah, 100%. He said they garnished his wages. Wait till you hear the story about Will Smith. They garnished his wages. They started taking his possessions. So, again, he was being interviewed by Idris Elba in London, UK. And he says, basically, look, quote unquote, I'm not sure what the government is like with taxes in the UK, but in the US, they take that shit seriously. So Uncle Sam wanted his money. He's like, I didn't even forget to pay. I just didn't pay, straight up. So I had to sell everything, 1990, so I can afford to start my career and move out to LA, because he knew that he needed to be out in LA. West Philadelphia, born and raised,
Right.
wasn't exactly where he was going to make his career. So basically what he says is he borrowed, quote unquote, 10 grand from a friend of mine who was a purveyor of neighborhood pharmaceuticals, AKA
A drug dealer.
your friendly neighborhood drug dealer.
Right.
Exactly. Takes 10 grand, moves out to LA, boom, books the gig as the French Prince of Bel-Air. This is 1990 on the spot. And he says this. Get this, for all our friends out there that don't understand about the concept of paying taxes and, the tax man, Uncle Sam, he says
Right.
this. For the first 3 years of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, the IRS was taking 70% of every paycheck. And
Right.
after the 3rd year, I got back to 0. It's terrible to have that kind of success and have to quietly be broke. First 3 years of Fresh Prince, right? Uncle Phil out there, Jeffrey, Carlton Banks doing his thing. Will Smith is not making any freaking money because he owes $2.8 million to the IRS. Took him 3 years to get back to
Louise.
neutral, right? This is what happens when you don't pay your freaking taxes. You're spending money like a drunken sailor, like you're a politician. So he then goes on to say, look, being famous and broke, this is a shit combination, okay? Because you're
Right.
still famous and people recognize you and you get all the stuff with that, but the people that recognize you, well, you're sitting next to them on the bus. So you're like, it's not so cool.
Yeah.
So the lesson here with this, and this intro story about Will Smith, he's become great. He's one of the greatest. His kids are amazing. His wife, awesome. I mean, aside from all the issues they've had on the sexual side of things, we
Yeah.
won't get into that. No matter how great you are, you're always going to have to learn something early on. I'd rather him learn, early on than basically having tax problems right now. So basically, this money game, it ain't easy. No matter who you are, you're going to have to basically learn the ropes. Uncle Sam ain't no joke. We all know that here in America. So when you're doing your taxes, when you're making your money, you got to understand, you got to account for Uncle Sam. Most people pay about 20% taxes, some a little bit less, some a little bit more if you're in the 30-something% bracket. But anyone can get caught up with Uncle Sam. So he learned his lesson. He's doing his thing. Fresh Prince, boom, boom, boom. West Philadelphia, born and raised on the playground. He spent most of his days. Now he's chilling in Bel Air. And then he's like, all right, cool. I got back to neutral. I'm starting to make money again. What's the next goal? And basically, he had very lofty aspirations. He says, then my next goal is to become the biggest movie star in the world. Okay? So he basically had a plan on a very strategic plan on how to implement this. You can pull up this story, Dave. So he starts studying the Hollywood greats, seeing who's killing it, learning from their success, who's killing it in the box office, and he sets his sight on one person who was killing it in the 90s. Who was that one person? None other than Tom Cruise. That was the man to beat.
What a
apparently.
duo. Have they done a movie together?
I don't know.
That'd be a sick movie.
Sick movie, huh? These days, I don't know. How old, Tom
I
Cruise is
think-
probably 60. Will Smith probably in his mid-50s.
Tom Cruise is not 60 years old.
How old do you think he is?
In his 50s. Maybe. Yeah,
I think you're
50s.
definitely wrong. Go ahead. pull
Tom
it up.
Cruise in his 60s?
Yeah, I think he's 60 years old. How old is he?
All right, let's look him up right now.
Tom Cruise, age. Somebody help us out
Cruise
here.
age. I'm looking
What's-
it up. Tom Cruise is 59 years old. I
Okay.
win. I win.
You win?
I win. Yeah, he's not in his 60s, in
When's
his
he turn
50s.
60?
July 3rd.
Okay, so he'll be
Yeah.
60 in 6 months.
Yeah, baby.
All right, you win this one. All right. So basically, he sets his sight on Tom Cruise. He starts emulating everything about this guy, following his plan, seeing what he's doing, watching his moves, basically stalking Tom Cruise, saying, I got to beat this guy. He's monitoring his activities, watching his greatness, while he's trying to outwork him, while trying to outshine him. He says, whatever Tom Cruise is doing, I'm going to do it for 2 more hours every single day. And he's watching and he's watching him. He's watching. And finally, one day he goes, yeah, I can't keep up with Tom Cruise. This guy has the most effort I've ever seen in my life. By far and away the most effort in Hollywood. He says, quote unquote, either Tom Cruise is a cyborg or there's 6 of them. That's how hard Tom Cruise was working. So what's my point of this? I'm telling the story about Will Smith starting off, tax issues. He gets to Hollywood, Fresh Prince, starts to make money, repays it back. He starts emulating the greats. He focused on Tom Cruise, and he's like, I'm just trying to outwork Tom Cruise. I'm going to outwork Tom Cruise. And Will Smith, as great as he is, couldn't even outwork Tom Cruise. That's how good he was. So I love hearing these stories about the greats, the greatest actors of our generation in many scenarios, right?
Yeah.
Leonardo DiCaprio, some might say. Denzel, some might say. McConaughey, I don't know.
Yeah.
But Will Smith and Tom Cruise, goats.
No
I
doubt.
love hearing their stories about work ethic. Because at the end of the day, we're going to talk about work ethic in this episode for sure.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff to cover about 4-day work weeks, what people are doing, implementing work week. Obviously, everything we've had, unemployment, stimulus checks, everything like that. We're going to be talking about the 4-day work week in a second. But when you hear, at the end of the day, Will Smith put a plan together to try to be the GOAT, and he tried to outwork Tom Cruise and couldn't, because that's how hard Tom Cruise was working. It makes you realize, oh shit, if you want to be great, one of the greats, got to put in that work.
Dude, absolutely. Yeah, these
Okay.
guys are different from everyone else, obviously. So they're doing something that the layman isn't. So definitely a lot to learn. I was going to make a point about Will Smith, but I forgot what it was. Let's move on.
Anyway, he's putting in the work. The question is, are you putting in the work? A lot of people in America ain't trying to put in that work. What do you have to say?
Right. No, I just think it's so interesting. Yeah. A lot of people, I think, especially my generation, if my employer isn't paying my taxes, I wouldn't know. And I was like working for myself.
Yeah.
I had no idea on how to pay my
Yeah.
taxes.
Well, that's part of the equation. Is if
Yeah.
you're an employee, your taxes are going to come out. If you're a 1099 entrepreneur, independent contractor, that's 100% something you need to be aware of. Like Will Smith, independent contractor at the time, right?
Right,
He was just
exactly.
getting paid by record labels, was an employee, tax man cometh. So no matter where you're at in your career, you got to put in the work, says Will Smith. But who the hell wants to work these days, David? Everybody's taking time off. Everyone's becoming a crypto millionaire, apparently. Not so fast. Anyway, speaking of work ethic, let's get into the down and dirty of this episode. Thank you, Will Smith, for inspiring us. Now let's talk to the regular people out there, to the people, right? Man of the people. Speaking of work ethic, all right, there's a lot of people throwing out this new idea. There's a congressman who actually implemented the typical work week. They're basically saying 5 days. Is that still something that we need to be doing? Is there a better plan out there? I want to know what you guys think in the comments about this 5-day work week potentially going down to a 4-day work week. Is the 4-day work week actually coming here to America? So let me just frame this. Like big picture, people are out of work, COVID, global supply chain, global labor shortage, companies can't find workers, the Great Resignation, the Great Reset, the Great Reshuffle, all this stuff going on. And basically, is the answer a 4-day work week? Would you want to work only 4 days a week? Now, according to a recent survey here done, CNBC, in a recent survey, 1,000 workers, most Americans say, what, David? They said yes.
of course.
We're down for a 4-day work week. Here's some of these stats real quick. You can pull this up. Question, they asked this question, are you burned out? Let me know in the comments if you below, by the way, before I get into this. Would you want a 4-day work week, right? Or do you want to stick to your 5-day work week? Yes, Thumbs up, 4-day work week. No, want to stick to the typical 5-day work week. Let me know below in the comments. And David, thank you for monitoring all that. I got my guy Sounds Bye in the house. He's a good dude. So anyway, is the remedy a 4-day work week? Here's the results of a recent 1,000-person poll that this was on CNBC. Most Americans said yes. Get this. So are you burned out? 53% of people said overall, yes, they are experiencing burnout. So more than half said they are experiencing burnout. 56% of women said they are experiencing burnout. And 62% of Gen Z, your people, David.
I'm not Gen Z.
Yeah, you're the oldest Gen Z, David. You're 25.
1995.
That's Gen Z, dude. I'm sorry. You're the youngest millennial or the oldest Gen Z? Take your pick now.
Oldest millennial.
Okay, youngest millennial.
That's what I meant. Yeah,
I'm
you're the oldest millennial. We got both opposite ends of the spectrum
Exactly.
here.
So Gen Z, 62%, they're basically saying they're burnt out. Burnt out. They've been working for like a year and a half now. 2 years. They're burnt out.
Well, what do
they were
do?
the highest.
You never
in this.
know. I mean, what if they're 18? They're doing construction. I mean, I wouldn't doubt that a child is burnt out from doing construction.
I mean, you're assuming that an 18-year-old's doing construction, but okay.
I am.
They could be working in retail. They could be working doing deliveries. They could be working at a law clerk office. They could do anything.
Yeah. That's such a thing because obviously if that's the most they've ever worked, they're like, ugh, this is so much.
This is horrible.
Exactly. It's like don't cry for spilt milk. That's why a child cries. That's the worst thing that ever happened to that baby.
Ooh.
You know what I'm saying?
All right. So the question of being burnt out, more than half, 53% overall said, yes, I'm burnt out. I'm experiencing burnout. 56% of women, 62% of Gen Z, your people that you don't want to be affiliated with.
Not
and
Gen
the
Z.
answer that they asked, would a 4-day work week help? 83% yes. 83% yes. Sign me up for a 4-day work week.
Until there's years, decades of 4-day, and then it's like a 3rd-day work week. Yes. God, 4 days. I only get 3 days off.
4 days. Well, it used to be 7 days a week until basically, labor laws. Back in my day, David's old man impersonation, always a go-to, fan favorite. So then they said, all right, that's what the employees had to say. Let's talk to the employers.
Yeah.
You're going to be shocked of what they said. They said, would a 4-day work week give employers an edge when it comes to hiring? All right, so there's competition. People aren't working. What are you going to do to basically get people to working for you? You got to give them little perks.
Oh.
We'll talk about some of these perks in a second. But basically, according to a 2019 report, end of the year 2019, from the Henley Business School in the UK, where your people are from, in the UK, they said...
He's affiliated me with every group that I'm
you
not
love
a fan.
Chelsea.
Oh, I love Chelsea.
Exactly.
Jeez.
So according to this business school report in the UK, they said 63% of businesses said it was easier to attract and retain talent with a 4-day work week.
Dude, absolutely.
Okay. 78% of employees with the 4-day work schedules are happier and less stressed is what they found. So basically people are like, dude, this 5-day work week, it's too much for me. Let's scale it down to 4 days. So these are some of the stats that they've shown. But could this actually happen in the U.S.? So let's pull this thing up. And basically this article says, don't hold your breath, buddy. This ain't happening.
Nah.
So recently, a California congressman named Mark Takano, of course this happens in California, right? He introduced legislation to basically implement a 4-day work week. Basically not just talking about it, being about it.
Right.
Introducing legislation, 4-day work week. And he basically cited this article that in Iceland, 80% of the workforce has a 4-day work week. 80% of the people in Iceland do a 4-day work week. And then they basically said that, and by the way, just to be fair, you know how many people, the population of Iceland?
I don't.
Take one random guess, Iceland.
I don't know.
Just to put it in
6
perspective.
million.
Just to put in perspective, we have 330-something million people here in America.
6 million people?
6 million. How about 366,000?
Get the fuck out.
Yeah,
really?
like there ain't that fucking many people in Iceland. All right, so this is not a great sample size. However, they're doing 4-day work weeks in Iceland. But you know where the concept is catching on, ladies and gentlemen? How about these countries? Spain, which they love their siestas.
Si, señor.
Si, señor, yes. New Zealand, down under, next to Australia. And this is something we're going to touch on. Japan.
Ooh.
Japan. So are you familiar with some of these? Japan is the #1 most overworked society in the world. Have you seen some of these pictures of Japanese workers sleeping?
I have not. I just get to the computer and open up tabs.
Yeah, that's what you're going to do.
Is this what
here.
the next one is?
So basically, Japanese workers work so much that it's basically not only encouraged, but totally acceptable to sleep on the streets. Take a look at some of these pictures that are going on here. Just Google Japanese workers sleeping. This is how burnt out the people of Japan are.
This
Let's take
isn't real.
This
No
is real.
way.
Can we scroll in on that? These are people sleeping on the street. Is it homeless or just burnt out? Right?
Wow, dude.
Yes.
This guy just collapsed right
Just
in the middle.
right there on the subway.
Oh,
Boom.
look at this guy.
Yeah.
This guy got comfortable.
This guy said, "Take it all off, buddy."
This guy either got robbed or got really comfortable.
Yeah, I'm guessing very comfortable. Keep going down. This guy with that neck. That's not gonna be
Holy
helpful for your
smokes.
neck, bro. And
Oh
scroll
my
down. What's the
God.
article say?
Overtired Japan is turning to office siestas.
Yeah, basically they're just saying, just sleep, dude. They work crazy hours. So basically, this is what burnout looks like. This is what we're trying to avoid, or at least what they're trying to avoid in Japan. Now, in America, is this going to happen as a 4-day work week? In America, unless we start seeing people working this hard, I don't see a 4-day work week. People won't even do a 1-day work week in America today because they're collecting unemployment still. Okay? And I think 5% of Americans have basically quit their jobs for good because they've made that crypto wealth. Anyway, this was introduced by this congressman, Mark Takano. He introduced a 4-day work week. We see what's going on in Japan. So let's just break down exactly what a 4-day work week would entail. So number one, you'd be working 32 hours instead of 40. So even I asked the question over here, if you can work for a typical work week, 4 days, instead of 8 hours a day times 5, and you work 10 hours a day times 4, would you do it? Most people would say yes.
Yeah.
3-day weekends, baby. Who the hell doesn't want that? So the perks, or exactly of what a 4-day work week would be 32 hours a week, not 40. You would get 3-day weekends for sure. Fridays off, right? And get this, it's the cherry on top, baby. The cherry on top. The pay doesn't decrease. You get the same amount that you were getting paid, same amount salary, same amount per hour as if you're working the 5 days.
Yeah, but you're working less hours, so your salary would decrease.
That apparently not. Apparently not.
So they would compensate?
Because they're basically saying you can be more productive. Hear me out. This is according to the Iceland study of 366,000. They're basically saying workers felt less stressed and less burnt out. No shit, because you're only working 4 days a week. But also you improved quality of work. You have more energy. You have better overall attitude. Like, thinking about it. It's Friday. No, it's Thursday. Like, yeah, Thursday. And when you get to work, you know you got to work. Fully present at work, right?
Well, yeah, but it's
You're
also
doing
like,
your thing.
Holy shit, I only got 4 days to do this. Woo!
Exactly. So the point is this. This is what they're presenting this option. And they're basically saying, look, in Iceland they do it. 80% of the workforce is doing it. It's happening in Spain. They're taking siestas, 4-day work weeks. It's happening in New Zealand. Get a load of frickin' Japan. What the hell's going on there? People are sleeping on the streets like it's homeless vibes. Good to go. But what had happened here in America? I don't know. Interesting concept. Yeah. But I feel like if it happens in America, I mean, I think like America is like a symbol of work your ass off to make it. Capitalism. Let's go, baby. Not 4-day work weeks. Enjoy your nap. Sleep in, right?
Right.
I feel like in America we got shit to do.
We got, and excuse me if I mispronounce this, Eurico. He goes, Northern Europeans are usually very productive. 4-day work days would work. However, for us unproductive Southern Europeans, it would not work. So I guess what he's saying, yeah, it works in some cases.
It depends
even
on
in
your
Europe.
culture. It's funny that they say Northern and Southern Europe, because that's sort of like if you look at Italy, not that I'm the Italian expert of the Renaissance, but Northern Italy works. Milan, Florenza, Lake Como, up there in the north. They're closer to Switzerland, Northern European. The people down south in Capri, Napoli, they chilling. They got their tan on point. They ain't working that hard.
Yeah.
They're lucky to do a 3-day work week down there. Up north, 5-day work week. So interesting. Look, I think more than anything, I saw this concept and I'm like, this is something we can discuss. This is a viable debate to happen. There's going to be people saying, no, 5-day work week, that we got to get shit done. This is what it is. Obviously, a lot of employers are going to say that. Employees, 4-day work week. So it comes down to the perspective, right? Obviously, everyone wants to have a decent work-life balance. Pat talks about this all the time, PBD. Work-life balance, that guy works harder than anybody I know. That guy could be chilling if he wanted to be, but that guy's grinding. Basically inspired me to kick my game up a notch. I was in chilling vibe for many years, and then I see this guy working. I'm like, this guy's worth 100 times more than me. and he's still working harder than me. All right, motivation right there.
Right.
So different perspectives. Employers are going to have different perspective. Employees are going to have different perspective. But basically, these are the types of things that are being talked about to what? Attract employees. People aren't working these days. Got to get these people back to work. So typically, here's another story for you, David. Speaking of the 4-day work week to attract other workers, here's another story. So what are employers doing to attract workers? Basically, we talked about the global supply chain, global people not working, all that fun stuff. Basically, the global labor shortage, and what are you doing to attract employees? So, there's higher pay, flexible schedules, remote access, work from home, 4-day work weeks, extra vacation time. Some people are paying for your colleges, some employers. But get this. When I saw this, I was like, holy shit. Now, some companies are so desperate to fill jobs, they're getting rid of drug tests. Yo, that dude who's smoking up all day in his car, all good, buddy. We need you. Get to work.
Yeah. He can. What can those hands do, buddy?
Let's see what those hands do. Exactly.
Get in here.
Companies are so desperate to fill jobs that they're basically saying, smoke all the weed you want, no more drug tests. Come to work, baby. We need you. Fun fact, 10% of employers worldwide, and this isn't just in America, worldwide, are said that they're eliminating job screenings or drug tests in order to attract and retain talent. They're basically saying, do whatever you want in your free time. Just please come to work. Just please. Drug tests, no drug. We don't give a shit. Just come on in. And that's what's happening across the world. 10% of employers. So the old do what you want in your free time, but just come to work thing. So they interviewed an attorney who basically lost out on a job because of a failed drug test due to that sticky green.
It's because of weed?
Because of weed,
That's the thing.
exactly.
I think they should test for other things. Like smoke pot. I don't give a shit. Just don't smoke and work or anything like that. Like if you're shooting something up, bro,
right,
and you're gonna come into work all like weird.
Like that one guy who had to leave here. Basically, this attorney who basically failed his job due to the drug test, due to the marijuana use, he says, it's archaic. Society has caught up to the reality that smoking weed on your own time, people don't care about that. We need laws and policies to stop putting people out of a job for petty reasons and putting people back to work. I agree with homie.
Yeah.
He's a lawyer. I'm not going to disagree with this guy. Look,
He's a
have
lawyer.
I smoked a joint in my life? You betcha. Am I smoking weed and coming to work? No, not so much.
Yeah.
But if you're an employer and you're like, dude, we need some freaking talent. Who gives a shit if Harry over here is lazing on the weekends? I don't care.
Yeah.
Just come to work, please. Right? I mean,
Exactly. No, I
mean, if you're
agree with
popping
that.
pills at work and you're doing you're shooting up, you're snorting lines like back in the day, you're at Wall Street, the Wolf of Wall Street, that might be a problem.
But that's the thing. It's like it's
Where
a
do you
problem
cut
when
it
it
off?
becomes a problem.
Yes.
Like if you're doing that, but you're still like #1 sales guy in the office and you're getting shit done. Like I'm concerned for your health, but I also like the money.
I really like the numbers you're putting up there,
Yeah.
Jorge.
Whatever you're doing, keep doing
Keep it up.
Keep it up.
Smoke a joint, do a line. I don't give a shit.
Come on.
Oh my God.
I don't care.
Shout out to Seinfeld. Anyway, I fully agree, right? So no drug test. I don't care. Let's get people back to work. So if that's something that you're doing, these perks these days, if that's part of it, more power to you. Basically, what's happening, if you see what's going on right now, the 4-day work weeks, flexible work, more vacation. Please work, no drug tests. Basically, the modern corporate work is just trying to be cool. Dude, party when you want, do your drugs 4 days of work. We're good, baby. Just come to work, please. We cool. We cool. Working is
We're
cool.
the cool office.
You ain't cool unless you pee your pants at work.
Yeah.
Shout out to Adam Sandler.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
That's right.
Anyway, so, and then there's this story, right? Speaking of trying to be cool, let me do what I want. There's this story. This is how important workers are these days, and how much pull, how much clout workers have right now. Have you heard about what's going on in Portugal?
No.
Check this story out. So workers are so important that in Portugal, they're making laws to basically give you a better work-life balance. They're basically saying, when you're not working, we ain't going to bother you. Portugal has now officially made it illegal for your employer, your boss, to even contact you outside of working hours. After 5 o'clock, lose my motherfucking number, jefe. This is crazy. CNBC story. So basically, they highlight Portugal. They say Portugal has passed new labor laws. Basically, this applies to any company with 10 or more employees. So if you're a 2-man, 3-man operation, this doesn't apply to you, or nor does it apply to you if you're not in Portugal. But in Portugal, here's what they've basically laid out in their new labor laws. They've banned bosses from contacting employees outside of working hours. We discussed that. They said that workers should have the right to at least 11 consecutive hours of a nice night's rest, during which they should not be interrupted unless for major emergencies. Yeah. Okay. They've also said that the employers contribute to the staff's work from home expenses. They're basically saying, yeah, that internet that I use and the electricity that I use, yeah, you're paying for that now, El Jefe. Okay, what else? That bosses are expected to meet with the members of their staff face-to-face every 2 months, not a big deal. But basically, if the employers don't abide by this, if they're basically calling their employees all hours of the night, they're not respecting them, you know, their 11 hours of a peaceful night's rest, if they're not paying part of their utility bill that goes to internet, electricity, yada, 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 that they could be fined.
Jeez, watch out. I hope Thais isn't watching this. Our event coordinator, she's in Portugal right now. She just might stay.
Is that where she is? Okay.
She just might stay.
So here's my question here. We've talked about 4-day work weeks in Iceland. We talked about in Portugal basically saying not contacting me. You see what's going on here in Japan, people being burnt out. They're basically saying, you know, this is the new wave of work. Is any of this, here's my question to you, young Dave.
Yeah.
Is any of this going to happen in America today? Is any of this going to happen in America today?
Some of it, not all of it. So the drug testing, I can see it happening, right? Yeah. As marijuana becomes more recreationally legal, yeah, totally. That stuff like that's going to happen. New York just opened up safe places to go do heroin.
Oh, did they?
Yeah. So it's like
in New York.
Yeah.
I know that they have that in San Francisco.
No, in New York.
These liberal bastions of free drugs and free love. Okay.
The contact hours, they might make it illegal, but it's still gonna happen. The 4-day work week, I don't see that happening in the States. Because here's the thing. And if it does, it's just gonna keep 50 years there'll be Dave Cast.
3-day work week. Dave Cast?
Yeah. And we'll talk about the 3-day work week. Because yeah, right now a 4-day work week sounds awesome, but it's not a party if it happens every night, right? So it's like at some point it's just like, oh man, fucking 4 days, bro. I work all 4 days this week. Isn't that crazy?
You're saying it's a slippery slope.
Yeah, then it's gonna
be
like
it starts with 5. Next thing you know, it's 4. A handful of years down the road, it's 3.
A while
now
ago,
it's like, oh my god, I gotta go to work today. 1 day a week. This is so fucking annoying.
Yeah, or I'm gonna have to fucking drive to the office today, bro. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Everyone's gonna work from home. So it's like, keep it at 5. Yeah, it sucks, but it doesn't. It's just, it used to be 7. Now it's 5.
You know what I think? You know what I think? You know what I think?
And I think
implement 4-day work week. 4-day work week. Fridays, work from home. Meet me in the middle here, buddy.
Hey.
Fridays, we do a Zoom call. Everybody's on at 9 a.m., whatever it is. There's a noon check-in. Make sure you're doing something, whatever. If you get your shit done, go enjoy the rest of your Friday. If you still got stuff to catch up on, got to work extra on a Friday. I'm just thinking of like ways to compromise here.
Yeah,
like
totally
perks.
Work from home.
Because 5 days a week, that's 80% of your life. You're working. Now, here's the deal. If you love what you do, dude, you'll work 7 days a week. You don't care. You're doing it. Like maybe you take Sunday off.
Take us here in Valley Timon. We're here till 11 o'clock at night.
We love working here. I mean, obviously people got different schedules.
No, absolutely.
Some people, they get paid their salary, they get paid their hourly, and they're not, as Pat calls it, part of the 459 club. 459 packing up.
Yeah.
That's not a good sign wherever you are. Whether it's 3 days a week, 4 days a week, 5 days, whatever it is. If you're part of the 459 club, you're just dying to get the fuck out of the office, find another job, bro.
Yeah.
I guess it's so easy these days.
Those people end up leaving. Like those people end up finding something else. It's true. But us, I mean, people stay here because they enjoy it. They don't mind. Yeah. Yeah, I need to catch up on some, or they'll come in early. I came in the other day, 6 a.m. Paul was here. People were here already working.
Okay.
I gotta catch
Shout out to the Valuetainment Squad doing their thing. So look, here in America, we need to work. We're the home of capitalism, okay? Now, if we start implementing 4-day work weeks, we're taking siestas like we're freaking Spain. People can't contact you after working hours like it's Portugal. What are we at that point? Some Scandinavian bullshit to hellhole?
I do agree with, like, at some point there is a line where, like, okay, I gave you 8 hours. I gave you 9 out of 10 hours. Give me a break, buddy. It's Sunday, 12 in the afternoon. I'm at the beach with my family. Stop texting me.
I see the point there. Yeah. But, like, dude. They're not
you
asking you to come into the office. Just respond to a text. Hey, man, you got the TPS reports? Yes, sir. Got them. Boom. Okay, bye. Like, not that big of a deal. They're not saying, hey, man, would you come in the office on a Sunday? We need you to grind it out. No.
Even God took a break on Sunday.
Oh, damn. You're going to win every argument when you bring up God. You're going to win it all up. Okay. And plus, the people who are working 5 days, are you really working 5 days? Are you really putting in that effort? No. I mean, people like to slack.
Angel Young in the comments saying, I love my job, and I work all 7 days as a driver.
Wow.
There you go.
He loves what he does.
There you go.
Okay.
Shout out Angel.
Anyway, let me know your thoughts. Did we get any thumbs up, thumbs down, 4 day, 5 day? Who are we thinking over there?
Yeah, we got more comments explaining. Yeah, 5 day, 7 day.
I guess I see. You know, this is interesting. I see our guy Eurico says, I'm Portuguese and I'm not complaining. Okay. Respect to you.
Eurico.
Luis Alpha in the house. Snog City saying, this is good, brother. Thank you, guys. Thank you. My guy TRC, Turtles Land, that guy. Dolphin Canada. All right, respect. Anyway, as always, we're going to move on to our money move of the week, or wild money move of the week.
Yes.
This one is pretty wild.
How wild,
but
Sauce?
It's not like crazy wild, but it's if you've ever seen the water boy, Bobby Boucher.
Oh.
This story is a shout out to him. My mama shade. So this is basically a story about what it's like to be an NFL water boy, right? We listen, football Sundays, Monday Night Football, then it's Thursday night, players, Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, everyone, you know, Derrick Henry, best running back in the league, you know, all these players that are going on out there. But what's it like to be the water boy? What's it like to be the real life Bobby Boucher? Let me hear your best Bobby Boucher.
My mama said alligators are so angry.
Mama said because they have a small brain.
They got all those teeth and no toothbrush to brush them with.
You do a good Bobby Boucher.
It's all in the jaw.
That's so good. Anyway, anyone wants to be a water boy after seeing their quote-unquote insane salary. So here's what's going on. So obviously an NFL water boy's job is to do one thing. Keep your players hydrated.
Wait, H2O.
It's H2O. Exactly. They get, you know, they're like the liquid god. Shout out to Bobby Boucher, who made being a water boy infamous. I believe that movie came out in 1999. If I'm right. So how much do you think a starting salary for an NFL water boy is?
Okay, I'll give you a number if the whole thing is that they make a lot. A starting salary, $100K.
No. Aggressive. You went over the top. Starting salary for a young water boy, for a young Bobby Boucher, who gets, is $53,000 a year, just to start out. But as you become better with the water, the numbers go up. You can make six figures if you're a professional water boy if you stick it out. If you stick it out, if you work your way up to the lead water boy,
a water man.
You start off as a water boy, make it 53. You're a water man, make it 100.
You're a water man.
David, you're killing on this episode. So it seems like nothing of a job, right? Just bring the guys their water, right? But if, in my opinion, it's all about opportunity. What kind of opportunity? Opportunity basically to be on the field every single game. So if you're a football fan, boom, you're working. You're there. You got front row seats. Okay, you're on the field on game. You basically have season tickets for free. You're not
Dude,
working too hard,
I
right?
better be making six figures if my son has to go to school and say, my dad's the water boy.
I mean, you get to mix it up with the players. You get to hydrate the players.
H2O.
You know, but the thing with the water boy is that it's a starting job, like any starting job, right? You got to work your way up. The most important thing is that you can create relationships, like Bobby Boucher.
Yeah.
He created a relationship with the coach.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Coach Klein.
Shows every fucking character from every Adam Sandler movie.
Coach Klein. But anyway, just like any profession, we're making fun of the water boy. We're having a fun time. This is attainment type of story. We're talking about the water boy, how much money they make, 50 freaking G's to give the players their waters.
Six figures.
But basically, what the water boys do is they find, and this is for a shout out to all the people out there, they find something that they're passionate about. They love it. Whether it's hydration, H2O, or actual football. And they're like, dude, I got to figure out a way to get close to the team, to the coach, start somewhere. I'll do anything.
You're essentially the coffee guy for the players.
You're the coffee guy for the players. I'll bring you the coffee. I like that analogy.
Yeah.
You're bringing you the water.
Yeah.
You got to start from the bottom, just like in anything. You start from the bottom.
And then you stay at the bottom making figures.
Just stay there making water, bro. And then maybe you work your way up.
To
right?
what? Gatorade guy? Like what?
Who knows? But you know,
I think that's.
Do you know that? Okay, I know you're not a basketball guy, but I'm gonna quiz you here.
Go ahead.
The coach of the Miami Heat. Do you know his name?
Spoelstra, of course.
You know Spo?
Yeah, I love Eric
Okay,
Spoelstra.
cool. So Eric Spoelstra,
Absolute legend.
legend. He's probably 50, I'm guessing. Okay. He started off as the film
Video guy, yeah.
The video guy.
Yeah.
The video guy did that for 5 years. He's doing video. He's watching tape. He's essentially the water boy, but just for video.
Okay.
Now he's the freaking head coach of the freaking Miami Heat.
You're saying I could be
3
CEO
championships
of
under his belt. I'm just saying you got to start somewhere. You got to get your foot in the door.
I agree.
You ever hear that story about
No, I
Pat
agree.
used to do when he sent someone a shoe?
Pardon?
You don't know the story?
No.
He says, look, he sends somebody, like somebody he's trying to do business with, a shoe, right?
A single shoe.
A single shoe.
Okay.
And there's a note on it and says, now that I got my foot in the door, how about you come meet me in person? Bada boom. And that's a very creative approach.
Yeah, this guy sent me a shoe.
This guy sent me a shoe. Who throws a shoe? Who gets beat with a shoe? Who throws a shoe? So anyway, you got to start from the bottom to work your way up.
Yeah.
Great relationships, you know? So this guy started from the bottom. He's making 50 freaking G's to hydrate. He gets an all-access pass, field pass to give water, and he gets all the liquids he can drink. Not a bad gig to be the NFL water boy.
What are the credentials? Have you ever poured something into a cup?
Right. It's probably not a lot of... Do we frozen here? Are we good?
No,
Okay,
we're good.
we're good. All right.
No, we're good.
Anyway, NFL water boy. For 50 G's... So here's the question for you, David, and our friends at home. Who's your favorite team?
NFL?
No,
Or
in the world.
Chelsea FC.
You're Chelsea.
Baby.
You got tattoos of Chelsea. If you could basically be the Chelsea water boy.
100%. I do it for free.
You do it for free. You would do it. So if your favorite team is the Buffalo Bills or the New England Patriots or the LA Rams, whatever your favorite freaking team is, Green Bay Packers, I could go down the list here.
Yeah.
Right? Houston Texans, I could go down the list. And they're like, yeah, you're the water boy. We're going to pay you 50 G's and just bring the people water and have a great time and just don't fucking poison the players. You would do it.
Keep your money, Kings. I'll do it for free.
You would do it for free. That's what passion is, my friend. That's passion.
I have to go
It's
apply.
a passion for water. I got to go apply. That's it. All right.
That's a good
Anywho,
point. That's a good point. Yeah.
Thank you. Anyway, moving on from the water boy here, let's talk renting. Literally moving on.
Yeah,
we've
let's
done
get
our
back to
water
it.
boy segment. Let's move on now. Let's talk renting. Now, this might be controversial, but I'm a finance guy. I'm a millionaire, straight up. I have a net worth of over $1 million, and I rent. You might be like, "What the is wrong with this guy?" Let me explain renting. All right, so let's talk about this. So now they say that 48% of renters worry they won't ever be able to buy a home. This is a survey according to CNBC. Now here are the stats on renting. Yeah, 48% of renters. Here are the stats. 2/3 of people own and 1/3 of people rent. So the question is, do you have to buy in order to build wealth? Now, keep in mind, if 2/3 of people are renting, okay, that's a majority of Americans. Question for you.
Yeah.
Why are 3/4 of Americans living paycheck to paycheck? It would seem like a lot of those people own their houses. So what am I saying here? So just because you buy a house doesn't mean that you're automatically going to be wealthy, or it definitely doesn't mean you're not going to live paycheck to paycheck. In fact, fun fact for you, the truth is the U.S. middle class, this is quote unquote from the article, depend on their home equity as a source of wealth way more than wealthy families who tend to own more stocks, bonds, or businesses.
So you're saying the middle class depends on the value that they'll get for their home
100%.
more than the actual rich people do.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Gotcha.
So this might be controversial if there's realtors out there.
That's the mentality.
Here's a little fun fact for you. Do you know how many realtors I know who rent? So many. So many.
I'm not.
You know how many people I know that work in the stock market business,
Yeah.
financial advisors, RIAs, yada, 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 that don't own stocks? Zero. So what does that mean? What does that mean? What does that mean? What does that mean? What am I trying to say? Is that if you work in the stock market, like you could you believe in stocks.
Yeah.
Okay, if you work in because whether you have
great
$5
point.
grand, whether you have 10 grand, or you have 100 grand, you have $1 million, you can put that in the market. Now I know a lot of realtors who are like, yeah, now's not a good time to buy. It's a little too expensive. I want to stay flexible. I'm just saving money. I'm renting. I'm like, okay, so not every freaking realtor owns property. Got it. Okay, in fact, the realtor who's found my lease for the last 5 apartments, that guy stays renting and does very well for himself. So I'm like, okay, I get it. You don't have to buy in order to build wealth,
dude.
There's a savings mechanism into renting. What's that? What do you?
It's like me pouring you a glass of a dark liquid and be like, here, drink this, and you're like, cool. Do you want some? I'm like, no. It's like, why aren't you drinking it?
Yeah. Okay. Coffee.
Yeah.
What is it?
Yeah. No, just drink it.
Just drink it. No,
But did you have some?
No.
Do you want some? No.
But drink up.
Yeah,
exactly. And buy it. Buy it for me.
Yeah.
Coffee.
Buy some of this.
So it sounds like I'm hating on realtors. I'm not. It sounds like I'm hating on buying a house. I'm not. I'm just saying I'm hating on the philosophy that renting is throwing away money. Let's get into this story.
Thank you. I'm going to send this link to my mother and
madre.
my entire family.
Of course.
Because the whole thing that I've been like instilled with my dad, my mom, everyone's like, buy a home. It's yours. It's land. The Sopranos, buy land.
We've talked about this all the time. What's worked for the boomers ain't exactly going to work for millennials,
I was
Gen
just
Z.
about to get to that. And we've done this before.
New dogs can't be doing old tricks. The world is moving so fast these days, you can't just take conventional wisdom and just apply it and think it's going to work out for you.
I'm a puppy.
Go to college, buy a house, get married, have kids, stay in debt. No, I'm good on all that. Let me figure this out my own way.
Yeah.
Let me work from home. Let me be an entrepreneur. Let me not go to college. Let me rent. Let me buy crypto. Like, things are changing so fast these days. You can't just do what people have always done for decades and decades and decades and expect to get ahead. And we'll get into that in a second. So, let's talk about renting for a second, because this is an episode on renting. So whether you're looking to buy or rent now, regardless, prices are freaking wild right now. Prices are to the moon, as they say.
Yeah.
But if you're renting, there's something called lease renewal time. So this is a story about basically what you should be doing when your lease comes due. Like, mine is coming due in January.
Oh.
And I got some things that I got to figure out, my friend.
Ay.
So basically, buying a home is like getting married. Renting a home is like dating. We're going to figure it out. We all know what happens to 50% of marriages. They end in divorce. A lot of times, like my business partner, my other business, my insurance, the wife got the house and he had to pay her 10 grand a month out of alimony. Just saying. It's not always peaches and roses when you get married and you have a house. So it's a huge commitment. 50% of people
A single
get
guy
divorced.
would say that.
All right. With that being said, a single guy would say that. Look, I'm just stating the facts.
No, I hear you.
So I could get some hated on. I come get some people say, this guy Sals has got a point. I'm putting things out there that aren't typically talked about. That's my point.
No, I hear
So
you.
rents are going all up over the country, but here's how to prepare if your lease is coming due. So basically, this is how to prepare for the big rent increase. Basically, end of the year, I don't know. I started my lease in January, so this is when this is coming up. So basically, there's 5 tips that I got for you guys. Number 1 is do your research and know your options. Do your research and know your options. I'm on Zillow every single day, seeing what's up. This okay, I can move here. This is a little less expensive. All right, this is more expensive, but I can get a 1-bedroom or I can get a 2-bedroom. Right now I'm in a 1-bedroom, but it's a loft. I like that extra space. 2-bedroom. Am I going to get a roommate? No, I'm going to get a fucking roommate. I don't need a roommate. Like, you're exploring. This is what Zillow does, or you can have Redfin. There's a million other places, but I go to Zillow and I see what's going on. I'm Zillowing it up on the web. I'm seeing what's out there. The place that I lived in downtown Miami, where I used to spend $3,500 a month, 6 spot. This was in 2019. 6 spot. I look back in that building. That unit that I was spending $3,500 is now renting for $5,500. Like, there's no part of me that's saying, yeah, I had that unit for $3,500 for years. Now you want me to move in the exact same unit 2 years later and pay almost double? I'm good.
Yeah. Well, it all ties into our whole economic state as a country and everything. So yeah, that's actually very
tough pill to swallow.
Yeah, it's very upsetting.
So anyway, you got to hit Zillow or whatever your mechanism is to look at what's going out there. Redfin, Zillow, whatever it is. That's number 1. Seeing what's going on the outside, but you also got to see what's going on the inside. Number 1, review your lease terms. What do you have to do? When do you have to renew by? What are the clauses that are going on there? And there's also, this you can go on to you can, depending on your city and your state, there's certain rules or regulations that basically you're entitled to. So you can learn those. So for instance, I'm just citing one typical example. In Oregon, the state of Oregon, not that we're in Oregon, basically they're saying that rent hikes are capped at 7% plus inflation. So that's 13% this year.
Yeah.
So, all right, that's something good to know. That's if my landlord hits me for double the price, I'm like, no, dude, like 13% is the max. In Seattle, as an example, landlords are required to alert tenants of a price increase between 60 and 180 days. So it could be 2 months and 6 months. They give you a heads up. Yeah, we're going to jack the price up on you. All right, you got time. Okay, so number one is to know your research and know your options. Boom, got it. Figure it out. I see what's going out there. I'm doing my research. I'm seeing the lay of the land. I know what's in my lease. Got it. Number two, I say, all right, if I don't stay here, how much is it going to freaking cost me to move? Moving ain't
cheap.
Moving ain't cheap. Thank you. Took the words right out of my mouth. So what's it going to cost you to move? Now, not cheap. Now, for some people, it might be $500, $1,000. For other people, it might be $2,000, $3,000, $5,000 if they got a big, 4-bedroom house to move. So understand those costs. Moving ain't cheap. You got to have movers. You got to have, moving equipment. You got to maybe have a storage unit. You got to transfer your utility. You're up and down. You're left and right. And that could be more expensive than whatever your rent increase is. So factor in moving. Okay?
Of course.
And all right, so cool. So now you know the lay of the land. You've done your research. You're seeing what's going out there. All right, moving. It's going to cost me $1,000. Cool, but my rent is going up $2,000. So, all right, that's not so crazy. All right, there it is. All right, I've done that. Now it's time to negotiate. Now before you start negotiating with your landlord, right? You kind of got to know what's going on, the lay of the land, so to speak. You got to know your stuff. Do you have any leverage? Meaning, how long has other apartments in the building been on the market? Dude, there's like 5 other units in this building that have been on the market for 6 months. I'll just move into another fucking unit in the building. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Or, dude, there's like a wait list to get into this apartment. There's no open units, no vacancies. Okay, I have no leverage right here. It's a hot building. It's a hot. Okay, you know what I'm saying right there. So, what kind of leverage do you have? Vacancies, capacity, non-capacity. Where you're at with that? How long have other apartments been in the market? These are the types of things you got to familiar with. This is rent. This is your number one expense. This is something you can't be half-assing.
What's the other landlord across the lake charging?
Exactly. So you can, people don't know this, but you can negotiate prices on rent. It's not a set amount, okay? Whether it's the building or a private landlord or whatever it is, private owner, you can negotiate discounts. There's stuff you can do. All right, listen, I'll pay you a little bit more up front, 3 months up front, but I got to pay a little bit less on the back end. All these things are fair game, right? You can delay certain payment, whatever it is, negotiate. So before you negotiate, know the lay of the land, know the market, know what things are going for. This is very important if you're going to be a renter. Number 4, okay, not only can you negotiate the price of rent, you can what is known as negotiate the price of accessories. The details matter. Now, what am I talking about with that? Now, maybe it's upgraded appliances. Maybe it's a new paint job. Maybe you've got carpet and you want tile in there. These are things that you can do. Like, for instance, I had that unit that I talked about in downtown Miami. Sick unit that I was in for a few years.
Yeah.
Huge double-decker loft, awesome, overlooked everything. It had the worst blinds ever. And in Miami, in the summertime, the heat would pop in.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, I've got this sick unit and it's hot as shit in here.
Yeah.
So I'm like, either I'll pay for the blinds and you knock off $200 a month from the rent, or just buy new blinds and I'll pay the full price. But for this unit, I'm not going to sweat like my ass off.
Yeah.
In a nice unit, we're paying $3,500 a month for a dope, 2-story loft and get sweat out. So he's like, all right, cool. Here's the deal. I'll put the blinds in. It'll be dope. All good. I'm like, great. Then you get to keep it. But, now I'll pay the full amount.
Right.
We had to negotiate. So not only do you negotiate the rent, negotiate the accessories in the unit.
That's a good. That's a good point, bro.
Bingo. So everything's a negotiation. So now, basically, you've done your research. You figured out how much it costs to move or not. Basically, moving costs. You're negotiating. You've got some leverage, or you don't have leverage. You want to see what's going on. Cool. Your accessories. All right. This is where I'm going to be. And then you got to make a decision. Should I stay or should I go now? Mm-hmm. That's it. Should you stay or should you go? Now, just understand if you're renting, the flexibility is power. You could say, dude, sorry, man, I'm walking. You don't have this option if you're tied into your house. You're not going anywhere. You're going to be there for the next 5, 10, like you're there.
Right.
Hey, man, I'd stay if you can get to this price. Can we do it? Hey, man, I found a better unit in the building, or I found a different unit down the street. They're charging a fraction of what you're charging. What do you want to do here? It's all a negotiation. Song it is, because at the end of the day, if you're a good tenant, the landlord wants to keep you. Why? Look at it from a landlord's perspective. They don't, for 1 month that it sits vacant, 1 month they're losing money.
Yeah.
Like if you're paying $3,500 a month and you're negotiating a $500 lease term, that's 500 times 12. Okay, so now he's basically losing. If he sits vacant for 2 months, he's losing money. Okay. Yeah. It costs money to put in a new renter. They got to clean it. They got to paint it. They got to put new carpet and whatever the hell it is. They got to basically make the whole thing new. It's going to cost them money. So for a landlord, they really want to keep you and just keep you happy. So you have leverage, is my point of saying, hey, look, I might go, I might stay. I'm not sure. But you have to also factor in what's the cost of this move, this new place. But anyway, these are the things that you have to think about if you're moving. If your lease is coming up, boom, I hope this segment helped you. So this is why I've been able to save that money, invest that money, become a millionaire by being a renter. I'll explain this to you. So when I was 30 years old, I just started to make some money. I had a roommate, my boy. We were splitting the rent. It was like a $3,000 unit downtown Miami. We were each paying $1,500. To buy that unit, I would have probably had to pay $4,000 a month myself. So now I'm paying $1,500 with a roommate. So understand that if I was going to buy that unit, which I was not even considering, that's about $2,000-$3,000 I'm saving every single month. So what am I doing with that money? I'm saving it. I'm investing it. I'm maxing out my 401k. I'm basically doing what I talk about here. I'm using rent to my advantage. Then I moved in with my girl. We were 2 people in 1 unit. Cool. I was paying the rent. She was paying the utilities. So I'm paying $3,000. She's paying $200. Cool. It's a good deal. Whatever. I moved, and then we broke up with my girl. I moved into that pimp bachelor pad that I talked about.
Right.
35. So I'm moving. I'm grooving. Then next thing you know, Pat says, dude, why don't you move to Dallas and come team up with me at Valuetainment? Cool. Done. My lease is up. I'm moving to Dallas. Now I'm paying $1,000 for a little 1-bedroom in Dallas because all I'm doing is working. So I got flexibility galore. Pat says, hey, good news. We're leaving Dallas. We're moving back to Boca, South Florida. Cool, great. Get a unit here. Now, hey, good news. We're actually moving to Fort Lauderdale. Boom, done with the lease. Flexibility is key, bro. Unless you know where you're going to be for the next 5, 10, 20 fucking years, renting is perfectly fine. Perfectly fine. Now, everyone says renting is throwing away money. Not if you're saving that money to invest. Okay, if you're not saving any money and you're not investing, just buy a house and be done with it. No brainer. At least your home will go up 3 to 5% a year. Who knows? And when you sell it, you can make some money.
Sure.
But if you're just renting, you got to have a game plan with your money. You got to look at the big picture. So, you know how I say the one constant in life is change? Things are changing. Stay flexible. Keep your head on a swivel. If you've got cash and you're renting and you can stay flexible, you go wherever you want. Low overhead, high flexibility, key to life. I've said it before. I'll say it again. Low overhead, keeping your costs as low as possible and keeping your flexibility as high as possible is the key to life these days. The world is moving so fast. Unless you've got kids and school districts and like a mortgage and a house and you know you ain't moving, if you're young, do not feel the pressure to have to buy a house. I'm telling you. It's worked out for me. I'm moving to a different place every couple years. Yeah, I got to pay some moving costs, but boom, I'm saving thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars a year, and I'm putting that right into the stock market. And you know the beautiful thing about investing in the stock market? You take that shit anywhere. Whether I'm living in Florida, New York, or freaking Iceland working 4 days a week, I could take my money with me. You can't do that with a mortgage. You're set in stone, literally. So there it is. But the little tidbit with the rent, make sure your rent is at most, as much as you can, 30% of your take-home pay. We did this a couple episodes ago.
Yeah.
If you're making 50 G's a year, 30% of that, 15 grand, which I think of $1,250 a month. So anyway, that's your number.
Yeah.
So I know I'm going ham on this. You might have realtors out there like, this guy knows what he's fucking talking about. I probably have more money than you do.
Damn. Just like that. You just said that. I just
said it. Because I understand the game plan. I understand that if I'm renting, I can't be spending all my freaking money and I have to invest.
Yeah.
If you're just going to rent and piss away all your money, just buy a place, dude, and don't even overthink it. So here's something that I actually found out. We were gonna say something.
I rented a place while you were going.
Just there. I decided to.
I was
rent
just
right
on
there.
Zillow. I just yeah. I'm gonna see some units after this.
Here's a little figure. Here's a little something. If you got a pen and paper, write this thing down, or you can Google it, figure it out. Here's how you can figure out if you should rent or buy. Here it is. So there's something called the price to rent ratio. I mean, I've been a big advocate of renting because I did the numbers in my head, but I came across this formula. I was like, holy shit, we got to talk about this. So there's something called the price to rent ratio. And basically what you do is you take the median home price in your area and you divide by the median annual rent. Let me give you a case example. So you can go into the U.S. Census Bureau, right? And they provide the median home values in every single city as well as the median monthly rent. The U.S. Census Bureau, okay? So here's a case example. If you're like, dude, you're a little over my head here, give me something tangible. Boom. I was just in Phoenix a couple weeks ago.
Well, I got the numbers up, by the way, behind you.
Okay. So we can get into that. We're going to get into that in a second. Don't go there yet. Yeah, stay there. I'll tell you when to get there. So let's use a case example. I was in Phoenix. I was like, all right, what does it cost to fucking live in Phoenix? Boom. So the median home value in Phoenix is what I've discovered is $230,000 median.
Okay.
The median annual rent is $12,000. So if you want to do this math, the price to rent ratio, basically $230,000 divided by 12,000. Are you doing that?
Yeah.
What do you got?
You got
19
point.
Boom, 19. Okay. 19 point something.
19.
All right, but the answer is 19. Okay, cool. Great. What the hell does that 19 mean to me? Let me tell you. Here it is. So if it's a price ratio of 15% or less, you should buy. 15 or less, you should buy. If the price to rent ratio is 21 or more, you should rent.
Where am I at 19?
Exactly. So you're 19, you're kind of in the middle. I don't know. You're literally smack dab in the middle. You're kind of closer to renting. Meaning there's a little gray area. You got to figure it out yourself. So basically, let's look at this list right now. And I said, okay, that's Phoenix. How does that help me?
Okay.
Now they're talking about that. Here are the places where they're basically saying you should 100% rent. So just keep in mind these numbers, 15 and 21. If it's below 15, buy. If it's above 21, rent. And now let's talk about the most opportune places to rent. Here are the cities that you should be renting in, okay? San Francisco, Oakland, Honolulu, Hawaii, LA, New York City. They all have scores of basically 40 or 50. 36 for New York. Keep scrolling down, Dave. Seattle, 36. San Jose, 33. Washington, D.C., 33. Keep going. San Diego, 30. Keep going. Keep going. Go faster. Portland, 29. Boston, 29. Chula Vista, California, 25. Denver, 25. Jersey, 23. Miami, 23. Stop right there. Austin, 22. Okay, so if you're living in those cities, and if you're going to use this formula, just rent. So it just almost validates everything that I've been talking about in living in Miami. Like the math is right there, basically saying we're a 23. If you're anything over a 21, just rent. Okay, great. New York City, all my friends in New York City, if they spend $1 million, they'd literally get a shoebox. Like literally, here's a shoebox, live in your freaking shoebox for $1 million.
Yeah.
Okay? Go to the top, San Francisco, and then we can see these prices right here. $600,000 to buy for $1,000 rental in San Francisco. Basically, the numbers do not support you buying anything in San Francisco. Just rent. Just rent in all the. Okay, so let's flip it. Let's flip it. Go down to the very bottom of the list. These are the places that if you live in, you should buy. These are the places you should buy. And now they're not exactly the best cities. Okay,
Detroit,
you're gonna. These aren't exactly the cities you want to go vacation. Here we go. You got Detroit, 5, right? If you're under 15, just buy. Basically, Detroit's saying, please move here. Please buy. It will make it very much worth your while. Here are the cities that you should buy in. Go fast, David.
Yeah, Cleveland,
Detroit,
Ohio.
Cleveland, Memphis, Toledo, Buffalo, Pittsburgh, Milwaukee, Baltimore, Lubbock, Texas, El Paso, Texas, Indianapolis, San Antonio, Fort Wayne, Arlington, Texas, Fort Worth, Texas, Philly, Tulsa, keep going until we hit 15, St. Louis, St. Pete. All right, so that's the 15. So basically what we're saying here is this. The better the city, like the more city that you're likely to vacation and you want to be at, just rent. The cities that basically are like, who the hell would live in Detroit? buy there because the rent, they make it basically incentivize you to buy, right? So the worse the city, the more likelihood you should buy. They're going to incentivize you to buy. The better the city, the New York Cities, the San Franciscos, the LAs, the Honolulu, Hawaii, the Miamis, just rent because the prices are freaking out of control. According to this price to rent ratio. This is math. Can't argue with math.
Oh, watch me, buddy.
Oh, watch me. So it's kind of like this. It's kind of like an analogy. Like the worse you look,
oh boy,
maybe the nicer you should be. Like if you're not so good looking, and you're not fit and you're not like easy on the eyes, don't also be an asshole.
Dude, I feel that way about New York though.
Okay.
New York is the ugly asshole.
You think
it's
so?
Like it's not
so
that,
don't buy there.
Yeah, but it's also like if you're ugly, be nice. Like Detroit, it's ugly, so like be nice on your prices. New York is stinky. It's dirty.
Oh, you do not talk shit about New York, buddy. I love New York City. I love
there,
visiting. I would
and I
never
was like,
buy
oh,
there.
this is cool. I'd hate to live here.
But for a couple days vacation.
Oh, hell
but
yeah.
there is something to be said. Like, look, let's call a spade here. If there's a pretty girl you're talking to, she's hot, she's sexy, she's pretty, she's got a bad attitude, you're willing to be like,
I'll rent.
I'll deal with her for a little while, the shitty attitude, but she looks good. You're willing to deal with more, okay, for someone who is a little more attractive. You see what I'm saying here?
100% see what you're saying.
Like if you're an unattractive city, a Cleveland, like you better make it worth my freaking while. Why the hell would I live here?
If you're Fort Wayne, you better not be charging me
exactly.
up the wazoo.
So I'm just kind of making an analogy right
No,
here,
I agree.
Yeah. I see Fabian saying New York is awesome. Don't shit about New York, buddy. Cut your hands off. So
950, baby.
Let's explain something here. I'm an advocate of renting until you figure out where you're going to be for good. So there's different options here. You tell me which one you are, and then we'll move on, okay? And we might even be done for the day right here, okay?
Okay.
So if you're renting, and you're not saving that money and investing and putting money into your 401k, Roth IRA, investing, what have you, you're losing. Straight up. You're losing the money game.
If you're renting and you're not doing that stuff, you're losing.
You're losing.
Right.
If you're renting and you're saving that money and you're investing and you're basically understanding that it's a savings mechanism to increase your investments and your savings, and you're understanding the game plan of what you're doing, and you have flexibility to move around and move and groove, you're winning. Cha-ching. Thank you. Now, if you buy and you're a homeowner and you're putting your money and it's a savings mechanism into your house and you're building equity, that's cool. But what else are you doing?
Right.
Because there's something basically called house rich, cash poor. You don't want to necessarily be that. House rich, cash poor is where basically all your money is tied up in your house.
Right.
And you know the problem with your money being tied up in your house? It's very hard to access it. You have to sell it, or you have to take a HELOC, and they just charge you money to borrow money against your house. Now you're paying interest rates to basically take out equity, and now you're playing the interest rate game. So real estate ain't easy. I talked about the realtors who are basically renting because they understand that it's a game, whatever they want to do with it. But for those that I understand about real estate, whether you own or whether you're a realtor, this ain't a freaking part-time job. This is a full-time job. To own a house or to be a realtor, it takes effort. Now, if you're willing to put in the effort, and let's say you're around the house, you're fixing it up, you're getting the maintenance, you're paying the property taxes, you're dealing with the insurance, and you're the lawn, you're fixing the AC, like all that, you're handy. Okay, you might end up winning. Or if you're a realtor and you know your property, you know your neighborhood, and you know your what do they call it, your farm area, okay, you can win. Like people clearly make money in real estate, but you don't have to be a full-time stock investor to make money. You can just set it and forget it and watch your 401k grow. So cash is king still to this day. Flexibility is power. If you rent, you can go wherever you want. That's it. Just low overhead, high flexibility, and again, just keep your rent to 30% of your take-home pay. Are we closing in on an hour now?
I believe this is.
We're closing in on an hour. So that's it. That's it. I had another story that I want to talk about stock market investing. We'll save that for the next one. So here's what we covered today. Here's what we covered today because we talked about wanting to keep this to an hour. Yeah. So we're not going to keep pushing it through. We talked about Big Will Smith, Big Willie style, and what he did. Tax issues, right? Tax issues, paying off his taxes, working his ass off, Fresh Prince, and basically how he became the biggest star in the Hollywood, basically looking at Tom Cruise saying, I'm coming after you, homie. And Tom Cruise has work ethic beyond, okay?
Yeah.
We talked about work ethic. From work ethic, we talked about 4-day work weeks. We talked about burnout. We talked about, could it happen here in the U.S.? Likely not. Benefits of a 4-day work week, cons of a 4-day work week. Well, is it actually going to happen? We talked about companies not doing drug tests to attract more employees. Things are happening right now, right? Portugal. Don't talk to me if I'm not working. Can you do a good Portuguese accent?
No.
Okay.
H2O in Portugal.
Speaking of that, we spoke about the water boy, how much water boys are making.
H2O.
What did he say? The alligators,
They got all them teeth, but no toothbrush to brush them with.
what did he call it? The cerebellum? What, I forgot what it was.
Oh, yeah, something about the cerebellum.
Was that what it was? All right. And then we went ham on renting. It's okay to rent. I'll say it again. It's okay to rent. Only if you're saving that money and investing. It's great. Flexibility, low overhead, high flexibility, winner, chicken dinner. If you're renting and you're not saving that money, you're investing, you're losing.
A little unknown fact about Adam, he's also a landlord and he's renting out a condo. I'm just kidding.
No,
No, I'm totally joking.
Eventually I'll buy when I settle down. That'll happen. We don't have time today to take your questions, but what we will be doing, this will probably be, we have some announcements to make, not this episode coming up, the future of Valuetainment, the future of SOSCAST, but in the future we're going to be taking your questions. I've given that sizzle out there a few more times, but in the future we will be answering your questions.
Live on the air.
Live on the air. That's eventually what the SOSCAST is going to turn into. That's it, David. Any final thoughts for you today?
No. I mean, I have many final thoughts.
What did you learn? What's
but,
your biggest takeaway of the day?
You gave me more ammunition to take home and say, my buddy Saw says, it's okay for me to rent.
Yes.
If I'm also investing in the stock market and saving. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I got to also.
So you're the type of person that's getting pressure from their parents to buy.
1,000%. Yeah, because that's what they know. Right?
Because what they know.
Yeah.
And you're how old again? 25?
I'm 25. You're turning 26.
And you're not
December
married.
15th.
You don't got no kids. December 15th?
Yes.
Your birthday's coming up?
Yeah, buddy.
Wow. You're turning 26?
Yeah, don't remind me, buddy.
Oh, my God.
I'm on the wrong side of the 25 now.
So to all our young friends out there, to our young friend, even our older friends, if you're feeling pressure to buy, pump the brakes. Show people the math. Show people everything we just discussed right now. The people in your life who are pressuring you to buy. Look at this price to rent ratio. Now, if you're in freaking Cleveland, Ohio, go buy something. If you're in Detroit, go buy something. The math's there. If you're in New York City, if you're in Miami, if you're in South Florida, if you're in LA and it's stupid crazy to buy, just freaking rent. Save that money. Keep your costs low. Keep your flexibility high. Keep your head on a swivel and see what's out there. But you can always be investing in the stock market. Straight up. It made me a millionaire. I'm a millionaire who has zero property. It happens. You can do it.
My man Saws.
There it is. Anyway, thank you guys. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for watching this episode of the SOSCAST, episode 16. We got a theme song we can put out there. Episode 16 of the SOSCAST. By episode 100, David is guaranteed to be a billionaire. Dude. So let's wait and see what happens with that.
Guaranteed.
We did not have time to answer your questions today. We're trying to keep the SOSCAST as close to an hour as possible. If you want it to be close to an hour, let us know. If you want it to be more than an hour, say, Soz, we want 2 hours of you, baby. Let us know. But we're trying to keep it as close to an hour as possible. Again, thank you for being here. This episode 16 of the SOSCAST. We will be back live next Thursday. Enjoy the weekend. It's Art Basel here in Miami. To all my people in Miami, if you're here, what's up? I'll see you down there during Art Basel. Enjoy your weekends. And as always, remember to save that money. David, sign us out.
Talk is money.